Still in the middle of the night, a little girl who was on the road was tightly holding a teddy bear in her arms. Then, suddenly, something caught her attention in front of her. She stopped for a moment, then started running in the direction that attracted her, shouting the name of Teddy. Her father who was there tried to hold her back, asking her to wait because she might fall. But too late, the little girl had already gotten away. The little girl stopped short and found herself in front of Tae Hee, looking at him with wide eyes full of curiosity. Tae Hee, on the other hand, was holding in his hands the teddy bear he had bought for Hae Soo. In an innocent voice, she asked if Tae Hee's teddy bear, wanted to be friends with Bunny, referring to her own stuffed animal. Her father, standing near her, felt uneasy in the presence of Tae Hee. Embarrassed, he apologized quickly, nervously explaining that his daughter was still young and didn't mean to bother him. But Tae Hee, instead of being offended, played along with a slight smile. He gently crouched down to the girl's height, pretending that Teddy did indeed want to be friends with Bunny. He spoke in a calm voice, asking if Bunny would like that too. The little girl's face lit up with a sincere and pure smile. Then she asked if Teddy could give Bunny a hug as a sign of friendship. Tae Hee gently agreed, responding that Teddy would love to give Bunny a big hug. A little further away, Hae Soo was silently observing the scene. Her eyes lingered first on the girl's joyful face, then slowly drifted towards Tae. There was a warmth in his smile that stirred something deep inside her. Suddenly, a buried memory came to the surface. She remembered that moment, the one where he was doing exactly the same thing. If she had ever been a mother, perhaps things would have been different. Perhaps she wouldn't have felt so empty. But her hopeful thoughts had long been broken by reality. She remembered the day the doctor told her something she hadn't wanted to hear, that she no longer seemed to know the difference between not wanting to come back and not being able to come back. Those words had pierced her like a blade, and now that she remembered, she looked down, turned away slightly, hiding her expression by moving behind Tae Hee. Tae Hee noticed the change in her demeanor. Her silence and distant gaze did not escape him, but he chose not to say anything right away. When they started climbing the stairs together, he finally asked her if she wasn't feeling well. Hae Soo gently shook her head, saying she was fine. A moment later, he asked again, this time with hesitation, if she was angry at him. She denied it again in a soft but distant voice. Seeking to lighten the mood, Tae Hee lifted the teddy bear and made it move near his neck in a teasing tone, promising that if he had done something wrong, he wouldn't do it again. He insisted playfully for her to tell him what was wrong. But Hae Soo replied calmly that it had nothing to do with him. She spoke softly, adding that some things were not so simple to explain, but in an uncalculated gesture, she inadvertently dropped the teddy bear. It fell down the stairs. Seeing the bear on the floor, Hae Soo panicked and tried to pick it up. But Tae Hee, who had other intentions, grabbed her wrist and lightly pinned her against the wall. His voice became lower when he told her she was still thinking about Minol, referring to this man she wanted to forget. Hae Soo looked at him, guilt shining in her eyes. She apologized in a voice barely audible, unable to deny it. Her silence said it all. Tae Hee stared at her in disbelief. His voice broke slightly as he repeated it, unable to understand that she didn't even deny it. Moments earlier, everything still seemed so light between them. He remembered their laughter, their teasing, and that moment when they were writing on the wall, crossing out their names in turn in a children's game. For a moment, the world had seemed simple again. Tae Hee had truly believed that at least at that moment, there were only the two of them. No past, no pain, just them. Driven by emotion, he leaned in and kissed her. The kiss intensified, filled with a desperate desire he could no longer contain. Hae Soo felt her heart racing while a strange warmth spread through her body trembling under the sudden wave of emotion. Yet, something unsettling screamed within her. Sensing his frustration, Hae Soo then gently pushed him away, her voice trembling as she told him she could go the rest of the way alone. Her eyes avoided his, but she seemed determined. She asked him to leave for today because she needed time. Tae Hee remained still for a moment, his gaze fixed on her face, giving the impression that the world was crashing down on his shoulders, then disappeared in an instant, leaving behind him the teddy bear still on the ground and a Hae Soo who seemed completely different. He simply told her to go home safely, his voice calm but heavy with contained emotions. Elsewhere, a guard was making a report explaining that the two young masters were doing exceptionally well. He described the eldest as not always very diligent but naturally quick-witted, with an excellent financial sense and great adaptability. Then he spoke of the younger one, the one who used to follow Tae Hee. This memory brought up a scene where Tae Hee had warned him, taunting him by asking if he didn't feel like he was being watched. In the present, the guard admitted that he sometimes felt like he was observing the president himself. The scene returned to Hae Soo. She was at her job discussing with the motel owner. Seeing her exhausted look, he gently told her that with her skills, he could recommend her elsewhere. He promised to look for opportunities for her, but was worried with all this work. Later, the restaurant owner also asked her if she was still looking for another part-time job. When she weakly agreed, he frowned, saying that youth was no excuse to exhaust oneself like that. He warned her. One day she would regret it. And rather than let her work more, he decided to increase her salary the following month, acknowledging her efforts. Hae Soo tried to explain, but her words stumbled. Inside, her thoughts grew heavy. She remembered that she had accepted help, that she had believed for a time, that if they had found a place to live together, things could have been different. But he had never given her the slightest explanation. Every time she heard him, it was in the name of reason and each time it was to justify herself. She kept telling herself that she had done everything for the best, that when she had turned away, it was because their tragedy was inevitable. She had pushed him so far away and yet, he still wanted to stay close to her. Perhaps she thought he could still find a little happiness, even if it wasn't meant to last. Her thoughts lingered on those silent moments they had shared, on the fleeting warmth of his laughter, on the tenderness of his smile. Her memories still seemed too real to disappear. Meanwhile, in an alley, Tae Hee appeared. His expression betrayed annoyance as he surveyed the surroundings, muttering in a hereditary tone that this place was a real dump. He turned to the guard beside him and asked if the building had been built even before his birth. He sneered, saying it would be simpler to tear everything down rather than maintain a place like this. He couldn't believe that a man of his importance had to waste his time in such a miserable place. All this because of a woman. He sighed heavily, admitting that he was starting to regret coming. Then, with a scornful smile, he added that if this man allowed a woman to work in such a dilapidated place, then maybe she was nothing more than a toy to him. The guard suddenly interrupted his monologue, drawing his attention to something. He pointed to a young woman outside, bent over, calmly picking up trash. "That's her," he said. Tae Hee frowned and looked in the indicated direction. When his eyes finally fell upon her, his expression changed slightly. There in front of him was Hae Soo, who was throwing away the garbage bags without knowing she was being observed.